Hi guys, in this video I'll be giving a brief update on this TruBind machine. This turned out to be one of those things that I use a lot more than I thought that I would have. At the same time I bought this, I actually bought a heavy duty cutter, and even though I am happy about the fact that I have it in that it cuts through like Matthew C books with ease, honestly I mostly use it during homeschool season, but this turned out to be, you know, a better buy than I thought. I use it for personal planners, for sketch pads for the kids, like drawing pads for the kids, like just general jotting pads around the house, and just random books that we end up taking apart for things that we are learning. You know, as I said, I use this a lot more than I thought that I would have. It has turned out to be a really good purchase, and I just wanted to come back and just point out a few things that I think are worth sharing for those who might be considering getting this machine from someone who have used it for a while. All right, so the main thing I wanted to point out actually has to do with this 12-volt plug at the back of the machine. This just does not feel like something that you want to be unplugging all the time, so I tend to leave mine plugged in, and I usually keep this on this cart, and the cord is just draped over here. And if I do need it plugged into a power source to use the coiler, then I plug it in. But this part here, I try not to mess with a lot. It just feels like one of those devices, sorry, that if it is you keep unplugging it all the time, it's just going to, as I said, get destroyed. So that's the first thing that I wanted to point out. If ever you're having problems with the pins punching into your paper, first check the collection tray at the back. This needs to be emptied on a regular enough basis. It can actually prevent the pins from punching into the paper. I've had that happen to me once before. These hex screws over time can start to loosen up. So I noticed mine loose day before when I was making some sketch pads for one of my kids. So I just used one of these like hex wrench sets. The size that I used for this was 3/32. This one to just tighten it up a little bit. So just something to keep in mind so that you don't lose the screws. It's only once that it ever came loose, and I've had mine for over 3 years. All right, so this part I haven't had problems with, but I have read reviews where people have had issues with the coil getting stuck between the coil inserter and this little cylindrical metal bar here. I did make a video sort of going through how it is I, you know, like angle my books when I'm coiling them, and you can check that out somewhere on top here. But I have not had any issues. When I first got the machine, I had to figure out how to hold the books exactly, and since then I haven't had any issues. So if that's something that you're having issues with, you can check out that video, and that might be helpful. All right, so this one is not directly the machine, but after you use the machine. You know, you do want to keep in mind that, you know, after you remove the spine for all your books, depending on how much you use it, you end up with a whole lot of books that, you know, you have no spine for, and now you have to pull the books out to be able to read what book it is you're looking for. It can also make it where some books, you know, it's hard for them to stand on their own now, and they have to be propped up, either packed into a shelf, or, well, in this case I have like this wire mesh shelving thing that is holding up these books on my upper shelf here. So that might be something that you want to keep in mind. It's not a drawback for me, but I do think it's something to consider, something that I actually did not consider before buying the machine. All right, so one additional thing that I wanted to add, I'm not sure if this would be considered a problem, but when I got my machine up and running and I was about to buy coils, I realized that it was much more difficult trying to decide what coils to buy, how many to buy, what sizes to buy, because it's very difficult to find the coils like in small quantities. At least I have found that to be the case, unless you buy them on Amazon and then you end up buying it at such a higher price, like per coil. But anyway, I bought mine off of mybinding.com. I am not sponsored by them in any way, form, or fashion. But I did buy mine off of that website. And I mean, if anybody wants like me to go through the different coil sizes and demonstrate that, I'll be happy to do so. Just comment at the bottom. But just in general, I find the sizes that I use the most. This is a 22 millimeter. I use this one quite a bit. There is one a little smaller than this that I use quite a bit as well, and that's this one here. This is a 13 millimeter. I use the size above this. That is the 25 millimeter. I use those three a lot. If anything, if I was to buy some more, I think I will get one between these two sizes, probably like a 16 millimeter, because like this book here, the sketch pad that I'm making would do better with a 16 millimeter. This 22 it's kind of big for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and use that because that's what I have, and I have quite a bit of it. So yeah, those three sizes I think I use the most right now. And oops, I have to tidy it right back. And for my textbooks, I use the 50. Is it the 32? Yes. For my textbooks, a lot of the textbooks I use the 32 millimeter. I have used a few bigger ones, but I think the 32, the 25, the 22, I don't have the 16, but I could see myself using the 16 a lot, and the 13. That's a quick run through of the sizes that I use a lot. All right, I'm so busy talking, and then I got distracted because my husband just walked into the room. I now realize I basically hand wound the entire thing. So there you go, there's a demonstration to just show that it is not difficult to, you know, wind it up by hand. Now of course, if you have to do a lot of that, a lot of it, it can, you know, become quite a bit. Kind of standing up in an odd position. Now she has her own personal sketch pad. Alright guys, hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions regarding this machine, you can feel free to ask it below, and if I can answer, I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you in another video. Bye.